Our encoding of objects as functions supports only a single method on each object. That is, if we have a shape that's a function that returns a number, then the only thing you can do with the shape is get its area. But if we would like to get its area or perimeter, then we can take literally the idea you sometimes hear of methods as being messages that are sent to an object. So we're going to change, to try that idea out, we're going to change our notion of shape from a function that just always returns a number to a function that takes a symbol and returns a number, a different kind of number depending on the symbol. The symbol could be the area symbol or the perimeter symbol to get the area of the rectangle or the perimeter of the rectangle. If we try that out, it looks like this. Here I've got a rectangle constructor that returns a shape. That is a function that takes a symbol and returns a number. If you pass it area, then it returns the area of the rectangle. If you pass it perimeter, then it returns the perimeter, which is 2 times the width plus height. Similar for square, it recognizes area and perimeter, so that when I make a rectangle R, I can ask for its area or its perimeter. I could make a square that's of size 10, and if I just make the object, then it'll print out as a function. But if I take the object and send it the message area, then I get the area of the square back. So that's one way to encode objects with multiple methods, but this too has a drawback, which is that all the methods have to have the same kind of result. But suppose that we want a rectangle to not only respond to area and perimeter, but to bigger than, returning a Boolean, but also taking an extra size, an extra number, to check whether the area is bigger than the given number. To do that, we can start representing a shape as a list of functions that are tagged with symbols. And so I'm going to tag a function with a symbol by creating a tuple. We pair the tuple together with the function type. Now I'm going to switch to Plait untyped because this kind of value doesn't fit into Plait's type system. That's because it's a list of values with symbols, that much is okay, but each of the functions that are associated with the different symbols have different types on them. So we're going to have to step outside of the type system for a little while, although we'll eventually get to an object language that can have its own type system. So if I go with this approach, it's going to be handy to have a find function that takes a list of tuples representing an object and a name of some method in that object and goes and finds the function for it. So we'll have that find function. And then I can make a rectangle constructor that returns a shape, that is a list with 2 tuples, area and bigger than, and the area function, of course, multiplies width times height, and the bigger than takes some number and checks whether width times height is bigger than that number. And now, when I create a rectangle R, instead of directly applying R as a function, I have to go find the area method. And then when I get the area method, this outer pair of parentheses calls that area method with 0 arguments. If I find the bigger than method, then the outer pair of parentheses here is calling that method with an argument 100. And since the area of this rectangle is 150, that's bigger than 100, and that's why we get a true route.